Well, it's been a while since I dabbled in the land of Ark. I covered the last community crunch over the past weekend, but it's time to circle back around and touch on a few topics that really caught my attention, including some digging I did after Snail Games' last investors call, so stay tuned for that one. What's going on, everybody? It's LtBuzzLitebeer, and welcome back to the channel. Well, I've got to say that this week has been truly interesting, and I'm going to touch on a bunch of this throughout this video. I've been introduced to some OG Ark creators like Nooblitz, someone I would have never found on my own, as I watch virtually no YouTube in my free time, but have now watched some of his Ark library, and I just can't get enough of this guy. And we might as well continue this story of Ark content creators with another topic, as yesterday, Ross Clark, Jade, and Hod did an Ark livestream titled, "Can Ark Recover from This?" Now, I highly recommend you check it out. I listened to it start to stop, and there's a lot of juicy information and topics discussed in there. For instance, apparently the Ark community has Ross Clark to blame for one of the darkest moments in Ark history, which took place in 2018, and I'll let you listen to the live stream to discover what that one was. The trio touched on a wide range of topics: the T-Tribe mass ban scandal, the future of Ark, Ark Survival Ascended, the animated series, Snail, and Wildcard, you name it. They discussed it. Like I said, I found it entertaining, informative, and in general, it is healthy for a gaming community when things are brought out in the open and talked about like this, something Wildcard needs to return to, an open line of honest communication with the player base. There was also this funny moment during the live stream when this happened.
So it all cultivated in this recent news, which has obviously become widespread now. Everybody's reported about it. Everybody knows about it.
Shout out to Lieutenant BuzzFeed, who is milking this like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad. Hans is informant, I think.
He's got to be...
I'm his insider. Yeah. DMs with him.
Yeah, he's pleased. He's got to be a farmer in real life, a dairy farmer. Yeah. Because, man, he can milk that tea dry.
Doing God's work. Doing God's work, Buzz.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news, according to Jade. I must be a dairy farmer in real life because I am milking the crap out of this Ark topic, which I did have a good laugh at. I mean, I have my reasons for covering Ark. Most are not what you would think they are, but yeah, I did have a good laugh at that one. Thinking back on that discussion, and I hear a lot of myself and my love for PvP when I hear Hod speak. Now, as someone that spent, over 15,000 hours in the Battlefield franchise and used to compete in that forum, a lot of what he touches on, the need for fair servers, banning cheaters, admins not being allowed to manipulate servers and the such, is something I really gravitated to. I pretty much hung up my mouse when Battlefield 5 and then 2042 launched, so I know all too well that insatiable itch to PvP in the franchise you love, but knowing full well what could potentially happen when you log in. Now, as far as why I keep hammering the Ark issues on my channel, that's probably something we should save for another day. Like I said, I have my reasons, but yeah, let's table that for a rainy day. Anyways, GG's to Ross Clark, Jade, and Hod for an entertaining live stream, and I will be tuning in for future uploads. By the way, if you want to watch that live stream, I will include a link to it in the video description and pinned comments below. Okay, so switching gears, and let's get over to that Snail Games investors call tease I dropped during the intro. And in a small way, Hod factors into this one as well. Now, back on May the 10th, Snail conducted their 2023 first quarter earnings conference call with a lengthy press packet and webcast. I've touched on bits of it since then, but there was this little bit from that call that was like a splinter in the back of my mind. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Now, Hod posted a tweet on May the 11th, so a day after that investors call, responding to a Novel capital, that's N-O-V-E-L, keep that in mind, explaining to them why the community is not happy in general with Snail Games, Ark Survival Ascended, that entire thing, and Novel capital never responded. But there was something about the call and who Hod had tagged over on Twitter that was just a bit off. I couldn't quite place my finger on it. In all my research, I thought I remember seeing something similar, but time has passed. I think on it for a few seconds and then I move on until this morning where I had a block of time and I again listened to that entire webcast. Now, during the Q&A portion of the call, the Snail team takes a question from a Patrick McCann who works at Noble, that's Noble, Capital Markets. So Hod was really close when he tagged Novel, Novel Capital, but they aren't the same.
Our first question is from Pat McCann with Noble Capital.
Hey, thanks for taking my questions. My first question has to do with the ARC sales in the quarter. Can you speak to the sale price or discounts offered on the ARC units that were sold in Q1?
Now, thanks to LinkedIn, I found Patrick McCann, CFA, which by the way stands for Chartered Financial Analyst at Noble Capital Markets. This was the voice on the call that asked a series of questions about the future of ARC. He asked about how current ARC owners were interested in buying ASA, of which I will tell you Jim Tsai, CEO of Snail Games, answered that the community was a bit mixed, which was an answer I was not expecting. And then McCann asked about the ARC pipeline, timelines, and even the ARC animated series. And by the way, this is the portion of the call where Jim mentioned that there would be 1 or 2 new DLCs for ASA released before ARC 2, which I'm sure you've heard about that news by now. So noteworthy on this investor's call is the fact that Patrick McCann's question was the only one fielded. That's right, it was the only question answered on the entire call. And no other investors even asked questions, which I've been on dozens of these investors' calls in the past with the likes of like EA and Ubisoft. You normally have drawn out Q&A sessions as naturally people want to know where their money is being invested. But here on the Snail Games call, just that one question was answered. And here's where that splinter finally broke through, because I had read something from Noble Capital Markets, the firm where Patrick McCann, the voice on the call, works. It was a while ago, but I was able to find it again. Now, I've touched on Snail Games stock prices in past uploads. That's nothing new for me. So has Hod. And the overwhelming thoughts here on Snail are that investors should not be sending them their money. I've shown you this article in the past where it is stated that 90% of Snail's income comes from one video game title, ARC, leading this analyst to hold on investing with Snail. There's also this recent Simply Wall Street graphic that shows you the potential for Snail Games stock prices to dramatically increase, but it also has heavy risk factors involved, including debt is not well covered by operating cash flow, etc. So anyways, you've got this overwhelming sense of, hey, you need to stay away from Snail for a multitude of reasons. Volatile markets, not enough capital, all their eggs are in one basket. Except for this one analyst review. And I was lucky enough to find this again because I saw it weeks ago. One analyst posted their thoughts on this stock analysis website for Snail Games. And just to show you a comparison, here is that same website, but showing you the 24 analysis reviews posted for Electronic Arts. You've got Deutsche Bank, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Barclays. I mean, we're talking powerful, billions invested corporations. But for Snail Games, just one analyst review. And oh, by the way, it is from, check that out, Noble Capital Markets, the very same company that Patrick McCann works for. And just look at these projections. The analysis for this stock is saying it's going to increase by 492% to a target price of $9. There's also this strong ratings indication to buy this stock, all by the same firm that asked the only question on the investors call, and the analyst performance rating is sitting at a 0.76 out of 5 stars. I don't know. This all looks super shady to me. Again, talking about Snail and mentioning the word shady when speaking about them. The only analyst that gets in a question on the entire investors call just happens to work for the very same firm that has the only analyst recommendation to buy Snail Games based on their huge market projections into 2024? Could this be Snail attempting to entice other investors to go in with Snail Games? If you can boost enough investor confidence, you can get more firms investing. Snail starts getting noticed, and more dollars are invested into Snail games. I mean, based on the fact that the stock is somewhere right now around $1.50 and seeing a price target of $9, it almost looks too good to be true, right? I mean, for me, there are too many coincidences here, especially with the entire market saying, hey, stay away from Snail, but the firm on the call and the analyst firm that posted this recommendation to buy are one and the same. Just like all those positive Steam reviews that have come flooding in the very second the game lost its mostly positive rating following the ASA Arc 2 bundle announcements. Coincidences? Who knows? I may be way off here, but as always, I look forward to reading your thoughts on this latest about Snail games. If you happen to like the video, maybe consider hitting subscribe for more milk in your daily recommendations. And while you're at it, ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. If you could rate and or share this video, it would be greatly appreciated. You can find and follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and in my open community Discord server, links to all of which can be found in the video description and pinned comments below. Shout out to the over 122,000 of you that have taken the leap and hit subscribe. And as always, a special thanks to my patrons over on Patreon. Until the next one, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.